Crafty Meraki friends, Aditi here, and I am sharing this Shaker Star birthday card with you all. Now, today I am going to be using this Birthday Mini Slimline Star die, and the last time I used the frames to create tags. Today, from the same set, I am going to use these three stars to create my Shaker card panel, and I will also be using the birthday wishes, just that sentiment from the same set for my card. In this way, you will see how we use the same set to create a variety of cards, and that's what I love about these sets from Crafty Meraki. They are not limited to a single creation. So, without further ado, I am just playing around with the stars, placing them on my card panel, and seeing how I like them. But before that, I think it's important to add all that gorgeous color. So I am feeling like a rainbow, in the mood to create a rainbow, and I decided to pull out my Lindy's shakers and create a nice rainbow, bold and vibrant. So on my watercolor cardstock panel, which is slightly smaller than an A2 card base, I am just spraying water, misting that watercolor paper, and I will sprinkle my Lindy's shakers one by one right below one another, creating that fabulous rainbow. Now you see, when those powders just come in contact with water, they react and create that magic that they are known for. This is my go-to technique when I want to create a simple, colorful background, and I think this works effectively, especially for the card today, being fun, bold, vibrant, giving off those party vibes with the birthday wishes. So I do repeat two of the colors at the bottom just to complete that rainbow and tie it all in, and further mist it with water, getting all that fabulous pigment powder flowing, mixing with each other, letting some of the color run over the other color, creating a fabulous blend, and I will set that to dry. And that is what it looks like when that gorgeousness is all dry. And now we can play with our arrangement. So the idea here is to create like a repetitive star pattern on the card panel, and all of these stars will have their individual shaker elements. I think that just makes it so much more fun. So I've created like a triangle with those three stars and run that through my die cut machine, and I think those colorful stars are looking so gorgeous already. Now I don't need the biggest star anymore. I think just one works for this panel, so I can set that aside, and I will place the other two smaller stars, creating another little triangle at the bottom. And I like using odd numbers, so 5 is a good number for me for this card panel. And so I'll quickly run that through my die cut machine and cut out those two stars. So with that done, this is what our card panel looks like with all those cutout stars, and just making it fun for the assembly of the shaker. Now I am using a black card base because I think it really accentuates all these colors and gives it that dark pop. So using a black A2 card base, I then just align the card panel on the card, and I am now placing back the stars in. But if you notice, I am not placing them the same way they were cut. I have just rotated them and changed a little bit of their placement for a further twist, because that just is going to look so colorful. So using press and seal, I am going to pick my stars and the card panel so nothing moves, everything stays in place. And I will adhere some double-sided tape at the back of these stars so that I can glue the stars down on my card base. And I think this is just such an easy way to do this. You can pull out any die that you have in your stash, even circles, square, any shape die. You could use this with leaves and just create a nice repetitive card panel for a multi-layer shaker element. So with tape On the back of the stars, I am now placing that entire cluster back on my card base, gently pulling back the press and seal, pressing the stars down in place, and I will lift up that card panel. So now we have the stars right in place where I want them, creating a nice base for the shaker element. Now you could replace this with some other pattern paper, you could leave it plain. I chose to use the same paper that I cut out for the card panel, and I think that looks good. Now at the back of the card panel, I am just applying some double-sided tape, and I am going to adhere a piece of acetate to create that see-through window for the shaker elements. My acetate piece is just slightly smaller than my card panel, and I think that looks good there. Now to create that depth for the shaker, so I am using some foam tape, double-sided sticky tape, and the idea here is to create like a barrier around each of the stars. So when you place this tape, make sure that two tapes meet at the corner, and it's creating a barrier so the shaker elements remain trapped within each of the stars. This is just the easiest way I have found to do this, especially when using a single die and creating a repetitive pattern. So I have adhered tiny pieces of the foam tape all around, covering all the stars as well as at the edge, just to maintain the same level of height. And now I am using some wow sparkles and this confetti kind of little hearts. I don't know what they're called, but I have these in my stash, and they are colorful just like my card panel, so I thought they would look good. And I am just placing everything on the individual stars. Now I don't add too much because I don't like my shaker elements to get bulky and very difficult to move around. So I keep all these elements light, and you see that adorable little spoon. I think that just comes so handy for a task like this where I'm picking out the sparkles from the jar and just dropping some on the individual stars. So once happy, now you can use beads, you can use pearls, you can add sequins, anything to glam it up, anything that will make you happy, anything that will make the receiver happy. So fill in those stars, and picking back on that entire card panel, I am just going to carefully align it. So it's a good idea to stand and do this. Just, getting a bird's eye view and eyeballing where the stars meet my card panel. I will glue that down in place, and I am not going to pick it and move it around too much. I am going to just slide this and set it aside and die cut my sentiment because I just want it to all settle in first. So bringing back the black from our card base, I am going to die cut birthday wishes on two pieces of black cardstock because I want to just create a little depth there. I want my sentiment to be a little dimensional as well. And since it's an intricate cursive writing sentiment, it's very difficult for me to adhere foam tape. And then in that case, it's just easy to die cut this about 2 or 3 times and glue all these layers together. So you notice I left my second die cut in the cardstock, and I apply glue on the first one and just align it with the other one. And once I know that everything is right in place, I pull the sentiment out from that second cardstock, fix everything, and liquid glue is good because it gives us time to move everything around. And once I have all of that in place, I just remove those excess pieces right in between the letters, and I then have my sentiment ready to glue on the card. Don't forget to save the eye dots. Many a times, that can just get thrown away, but it's important. And if that happens to you by chance, you have just not noticed and the eye dots have vanished, you can always use sequins or some embellishment to dot your eyes. So I am just playing around with the sentiment, seeing where it best looks on my card. I definitely want it overlapping that shaker star onto the colorful cardstock. I think that just adds so much more to tie that entire card panel together. And once I know where I want the sentiment, so since there's nothing else really apart from the shaker, I am placing the sentiment at the bottom of my card. I think it looks quite great there. So my big star with that shaker element is going to be my focal point, and the other tiny stars are going to anchor it all together. So using liquid adhesive, I am placing the birthday wishes down in place, and I will use my sticky tool and glue the eye dots as well. And I have this silicone pointed brush that helps me just get rid of any excess glue so I don't have any sticky glue marks on the card. And that's about it. My sentiment is down in place. My shaker element is ready. My card looks complete. So you see how quick and easy that was to put together. All it took was one watercolor card panel, one die set, a little die cutting, and that's it. It didn't really take me that long to put this together. And that shaking, that element of just shake, 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 instantly brings a smile on my face, and I'm sure it brings a smile on your face. And I know, as a matter of fact, that the receiver is going to be as thrilled and happy with this card as I am. I really hope I have inspired you today, and I look forward to reading your comments. Until the next time, take care and bye bye.